Alright guys, this is going to be the Rotobrush overview, and this is a tool that is very complex. It is very time intensive, so when you're trying to go through your footage and cut out a subject, it can be very time consuming. Sometimes you even have to go down frame by frame in order to pull the correct data. So what I'm going to show you here is going to be a very rough tutorial to just show you what it does, and then you can feel free to go back in and learn more about the Rotobrush tool and what it has to offer. So one thing to keep in mind with the Rotobrush tool is you want your frame rate to match your composition. So in this composition we've actually got a different frame rate. You can see here it's 2997, and this trampoline clip we have is actually 23 or 24 frames per second. So what we want to do is we're going to create a new composition, so I can show you this. So we're going to drag this down here, and this will create our composition to be 23.976. And we can see here that we now have this guy on the trampoline. So what I want to do is I'm going to rotate this 90 degrees so that it's vertical, and then we're going to use S for the scale to size it down. So now we can go through and we can play this, and what I want to do is I want to find him right when he's jumping up, about right there, to get a nice, try to get a nice clear shot. So I'm going to cut this clip here, and you can watch the keyboard shortcuts, or you can go through and just watch this tutorial. But for now we've got this, and so I'm going to stop about right here. I don't want a bunch of motion blur in the shot, so I'm going to open up my Rotobrush tool. I can use Alt W, okay, to switch between these tools. And then once I've got it, I'm going to go into the layer, so double click here, and then I'm going to see this inside the layer. So what I want to do is select this guy with this tool. So I'm going to change the diameter down just a little bit, and then I'm going to start dragging, and you'll see that it's going to outline our figure here. So I'm going to drag it here, and After Effects is going to do its best to find the data. Now this it's selected a lot more, so if I hold the Alt key, I can go through here and deselect those portions, and it'll constrain back to our image. So I'm going to go through here and pick just a few of these details, and like I said, I'm not going to get too specific. You could be doing this all day. Okay, so now we've got a pretty rough image. So now that's given us some effects, and we can go through and refine these things. If we look back at our composition, notice we've cut everything around out. So now with him being on a green screen, normally we would take the green out, which we'll be learning later on in the course, but for this I just wanted to show you, you can feather the options that you have. You could shift the edge if you'd like, and then you can also reduce the chatter and do some of these other kind of things and get a really fine edge around here, which is what this other tool is for. We have a refine edge tool, so if we go back into our layer, we could go around here and get even more precise as far as getting these different features and working with it. So I'm not going to go over the refine edge, but we did go over to Rotobrush, and I just want to let you know that it's a very time intensive tool. Sometimes, like I mentioned, you have to go frame by frame in order to get your subjects. So best piece of advice is to try and get your shots without having to use this tool. If you can use a green screen to be able to cut that out, that's going to be ideal. So thanks for being here, and we're going to wrap things up in the tool section in the next video.